Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the greatest recordings ever. And I have one today, which I did mention previously. It was Dave's Faves, number 281. But it was one of those collections, the nature of which sort of guaranteed its descent into oblivion. And if we don't mention it periodically, no one's going to know that it exists. And we have to talk about the great recordings, and we have to talk about them more than once, because that's our job. It's our duty. It's our responsibility to make sure that these splendid examples of supreme musicianship don't just vanish into the woodwork, which the major labels that produce them are determined to do to them. It is this, Christoph von Dohnányi and the Cleveland Orchestra, playing works by Bartok, Martinu, and Janacek. Wow, baby, exactly. Yeah, I mean, this was one of those discs that existed in the catalog for maybe 10 seconds. It wasn't one that was never released domestically in the United States because it's actually has the London logo before London simply became Decca, and they gave up trying to have even an American version, an American branch of the label. So it did come out in 1995, and it consists of the following. First, Bartok's music for strings, percussion, and Celesta in one of the absolute reference recordings, a stunning performance. And I saw them do it live. And I have to say, the live performance was pretty spectacular. It was the concert that closed Carnegie Hall before the big renovation. I mean, that was quite a while ago. But they did Bartok's music for strings, percussion, and Celesta, and something else. I have no idea. I don't remember what. And on the second half, because Carnegie Hall was saved, supposedly, by Isaac Stern, he came out and played the Beethoven Violin Concerto, probably a quarter tone sharp the whole time. I don't know. It just was foully out of tune. And, of course, he got a standing ovation. And I guess he deserved it for saving Carnegie Hall. But he did not save the Beethoven Violin Concerto. The highlight of that concert was a stunning performance of the music for strings, percussion, and Celesta with the Cleveland Orchestra house pianist. I don't know who it was, an Asian woman who just went bonkers on the piano part. My goodness, it was marvelous. It was absolutely brilliant. And that brilliance is captured here in this recording very, very well, and beautiful sound, beautifully recorded. The next piece is a genuine rarity, while the other two are Martinu's Concerto for String Quartet and Orchestra, one of his spikier neoclassical works. It's brilliant. It's fun to listen to. It's rhythmically exciting. It's pungent. It's a real treat. It really is. And when do you ever hear concertos for string quartet and orchestra? There are a few of them. I mean, they do exist. There's that wonderful Concerto Grosso, too, by Orbon, which is amazing, and a few other pieces. But generally speaking, I mean, Schoenberg did one. It's tonal. It's based on a Handel Concerto Grosso, so it's not too tough to listen to. But nobody does these pieces. You've got to find a string quartet that's willing to do it, or the first desks from the orchestra, I'm sure would be delighted to do it, and delighted they sound. And then last but not least, you have the Janacek Capriccio for piano left hand and chamber ensemble. This chamber ensemble is one of the weirdest groups you've ever heard. Let me see if they list it. Hang on a minute. Where we go. Capriccio for piano left hand and chamber ensemble. Where does it stop? Here we go. It's a flute, 2 trumpets, 3 trombones, and a tuba. There's also a tenor tuba there. I think it's a tenor tuba. Something doubles on something. It's a very, very strange piece with weird ensemble. And typically Janacek-y. It has these fragments of folk tune things in it, and it's wonderful. I mean, it's absolutely wonderful, but quirky and strange beyond belief. And so all of those things are collected on this disc. It makes a wonderful program of Eastern European masterpieces for interesting ensembles, interesting orchestral layouts, and boy, are they played beautifully. Absolutely beautifully. But it's got 3 composers on one disc. The Bartok, of course, is the major work. I would file it under B, which is where I usually kept it. But nobody was going to pay attention to it when it came out. Nobody did pay attention to it when it came out. Few people have mentioned it since. It's one of the great recordings, without a doubt. And interesting repertoire just doesn't get an awful lot of play. And contemporary music doesn't get an awful lot of play. So, I guess it was doomed from the start. The miracle is that Decca made the thing in the first place. But having made the thing in the first place, you got to have the courage of your convictions. I always remember, Julia Child, making an omelet, or, and she's talking about, flipping the eggs, or there was eggs or potatoes or something. I don't know. It's potatoes, actually. I think that's not an omelet. But she says, you've got to have the courage of your convictions. She flips it. It falls all over the place. And she says, she's picking it up with her hands and stuffing it in the pan and saying, you see, I didn't have the courage of my convictions. Well, that's this. It really is. The only difference is they didn't pick it up and put it back in the pan. They didn't have the courage of their convictions. They didn't promote the disc. They didn't care about it. And when nobody bought it, they just deleted it. They didn't even try. Such a shame, but such a great record. So if you can still get your hands on it, if you've got the Cleveland box, if you've got, find it used, grab it. The Bartok is amazing, and the other 2 pieces you will be delighted to get to know. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.